Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
Coming up, hey, did you know that we were in a podcasting renaissance? Well, apparently we are.
Oh my. Plus, Beats Music comes to Southwest Airlines and a tip for quick screen dimming.
And when is that Apple Watch hitting stores? It might be later than we thought. All that plus, let's all make some TinTypes on iPad today. They're going to be good.
iPad Today is brought to you by Casper, an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the price, because everyone deserves a great night's sleep. Get $50 off any mattress purchase by visiting Casper.com/iPad Today and entering the promo code iPad Today. And by Gazelle, the fast and simple way to sell your used gadgets. Find out what your used iPhone, iPad, or other Apple product is worth at Gazelle.com. And by Personal Capital. With Personal Capital, you'll finally have all your financial life in one place and get a clear view of everything you own. Best of all, it's free. To sign up, go to personalcapital.com/iPad today. It's IPT on TA.
What's the TA?
The air.
Oh, the air, IPT on TA.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
IPT is, you know, what we internally call iPad Today.
Because
It's our super secret URL string.
not enough time to say iPad Today.
Correct.
Every time.
Let's gain a syllable each
Hi,
time we
Sarah
reference
Lane.
the show. Hi, Leo Laporte. What are you doing?
Today,
What are you
I
doing here?
am getting ready for an exciting show all about the iPad.
I am too.
Lots of new rumors and stuff about the iPad, but most importantly, I'm celebrating the fact that podcasts are back.
Podcasts are back, everybody. All right, can we just reference the reason that we're talking about podcasts, which, of course, if you are listening or watching to the show, you also are, is this article that I read over the weekend in New York Magazine that was well written and everything. But
Kevin Roos, not Rose.
Yeah, different Kevin.
Yep.
Wrote an article titled "What's Behind the Great Podcast Renaissance?" And so I was like, "Ooh, what, am I missing something? This is my livelihood, right?" And it was this article. It never mentioned Twit. Okay, whatever. Pioneer and all, but fine. But it was all about how podcasting had started, and it was based obviously on the iPod, which is an outdated term. The iPod has, been retired, yet we still call these podcasts, and sometimes that's confusing. And now there was a lull in the podcasting industry right around 2010, and now
I don't remember any of this that he's talking about, by the way, the lull or anything.
2010 was when I started working at Twit full time.
Oh, that's the lull.
We had been working
That was
together
the cause.
for some time. So when
Right.
I joined Twit, as far as New York Magazine is concerned,
That's when it all-
podcasting really, like advertisers stopped being
No,
interested.
none of that happened.
No.
This isn't the first article like this, and I keep trying to remember where the first one. I think it was the Washington Post about a few weeks ago. And you have to understand mainstream media, for some reason, I guess it's true in any industry, right? They all copy each other. So and I finally figured out why. All of a sudden, by the way, there's stories coming from other, I know because they've talked to me about some of these, but there's other outlets that are going to say the same thing. Podcasting, it's back. So I think I know why this happened.
Okay.
Because the people in the media centers of the world, New York and Los Angeles, are basically clueless, let's face it. And certainly about what we do, about podcasting. I mean, we've been doing this show, and we've been doing Twit for 10 years, almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years next April.
And you're talking about like the old Hollywood, the old media
New York-
giants.
I mean,
Not
that-
to say that there aren't like cool podcasters all over the place.
But New York Magazine, that's
Right,
old
right.
media. And they pay attention not to us, but to things like This American Life, which is a wonderful American public radio show. It's a real radio show,
Yeah.
which has a very, very successful podcast and has for some time. This is what happened. One of the producers left This American Life and started a new podcast, which is about, and did a Kickstarter, about how to make a podcast startup.
Yes.
And because this guy came from a traditional media outlet, went off to do a podcast, suddenly everybody in traditional media is going, oh, podcasting's back.
Oh, so that's how you do it.
They never understood that it never left. It's just
Right.
they didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a funny thing. In any event, I'm glad to see it. It's great. I'm hoping more people will listen to. We've always said we're not a podcast. We're internet distributed shows. You know, we're content that comes in over the internet. It doesn't mean you play it on an iPod.
Right.
They also misunderstood the revolution. In this article, Kevin Roos says the reason podcasting's back is that commutes are getting longer. Well, that's been happening for years. The real reason podcasts are growing is because mobile phones and the iPad, mobile devices, now can get podcasts directly. Remember, at first, for the first 5 or 6 years, you had to find the podcast on iTunes. You had to press the subscribe button, which was a little bit of a mystery because subscribe sounds like you're going to pay for it. Am I going to get charged? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
So
People are still confused about that with our shows.
It's very confusing. So you go there, you have to find a show, subscribe to it, then it downloads onto your computer. Then you hook up a device, synchronize it, unhook the device, get in the car, now you can listen to the show. And that's one of the reasons I didn't like the word podcast, because that's too much work. Nobody's going to do it. So the revolution, if there is a renaissance of podcasts, is coming because you don't have to do that anymore. You can have a smartphone or a tablet. You can use a podcatcher appliance, a program that says podcasts or something else. We're going to show you some good ones. And you'll get the shows automatically. And Apple didn't allow that until recently, remember. That was a big shift. I can't remember when that happened, a few years ago. And now people are listening because it's easy to get.
Sure.
But we've grown, you know what, just to say, okay, enough self-serving. But this network, which is a network of internet distributed shows, AKA podcasts, has been growing ever since we started 10 years ago. More audience all the time. There was never a lull, ever.
No, we've only grown since I've been around. I take full credit, but
yes, it's your fault.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But so anyway, welcome to the world,
Right.
New York Magazine.
Well, what I like to think is, even though I read an article like that and I'm like, ugh, it just, I want to roll my eyes a little bit. I do think that.
But notice who they mentioned. They mentioned all the mainstream broadcasters who are now doing podcasts. That's really, for them, that means it's a renaissance.
Although I do have to say, as somebody who loves not only Twit podcasts but others, and I try to stay on top of what other people are doing in our space. The podcast Serial. Have you been listening to that?
I don't know what that is.
It's a murder mystery, true story that's told in order.
I've always wanted to do this.
But it's real. It's actually a reporter who just sort
That's
of dug into a case that was there. Were a lot of questions. Even though this gentleman actually went to jail. Yeah, it's called Serial.
Now it'll come to an end at some point.
One would think. I started yesterday on episode 1, and I blew through the entire thing because it was so good.
I've always wanted to do this because the idea is you come to the end and now you have to listen to the next one. Right?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. But the
once
problem
I was
is
done,
finding
I was
great
like,
writers to write those. And then, is it acted out or is it just somebody talking?
No, it's actually it's narrated by a reporter named Sarah Koenig, of course, because everyone's named Sarah in the entire world. But it's also woven together with interviews with one of the guys that's in jail. Yeah, and she got all this video from interrogation sessions from back in 1999. It's amazing.
I'll have to listen. Serial.
Yes, Serial, as in serial show.
How do I listen?
Okay, so I am right now in the Podcasts app, which is obviously a native iOS app that Apple has provided. Now, you might recall that back in the day, the Podcasts app was well hated by everybody.
That was the one because it had turning tape wheels.
I always kind of liked it, but yeah, it
doesn't have that anymore.
No, it doesn't have any of that. It's basically it's iTunes for podcasts. That's what it is. All right, so if you say,
in fact,
all right,
that looks just like iTunes.
It totally does. If you say, all right, well, what's featured? I don't know what I want to listen to. You want to listen to something that's Daily Show oriented, Freakonomics. Yeah, a lot of these franchises you're gonna know, the Boing Boing folks. If you go into new and noteworthy, obviously you can scroll through these serials in there, as well as a lot of podcasts that I've never heard of.
I guess you could say there's a renaissance because look at all of these great shows.
Design
There's a lot
essentials.
of choice.
I think what's key here, and this is something that Apple does, and Apple obviously curates their own collections, whether it's podcasts or music or movies or that sort of thing. But that all the podcast apps seem to be doing that now. And it's really helpful because as somebody who For example, recently, I thought, yeah, I'm not listening to fitness podcasts. I might like to do that. It's like, okay, well, I go ahead and I search. I found this paleo diet podcast. It was relatively interesting, even though I'm not even a paleo person. But if you go ahead and search fitness, well, okay, there's quite a few options here, but you still have to like go through and listen to the first few minutes of a lot of them because you don't know if you're going to like them.
Can
or
you
not.
do that in that podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Podcast client?
No more boring fitness.
You don't have to download it ahead of time. You just start listening right away.
Yeah.
So
or
that helps
watching
a lot.
if it's a video podcast.
That helps a lot.
Podcast, the app, support both audio and video podcasts. Now that's obviously good for us at Twit because we provide both. Let's see, forward bends, huh? This
I
is
would like to do
terrible video.
more forward bends.
Good grief. That's like the worst video I've ever seen.
Well, and this is one of the issues, of course, with
See, exactly. And I was like, I don't know, the
podcasts.
album art looked okay. No more boring fitness. Well, it was just,
it's not boring.
kind of boring. Fat-free fitness. All right, let's see what Yuri has to say. So, and what's nice is that as you can see, when you click on one of the podcasts in any podcast list, it'll let you know if you're going to be listening to an audio or video podcast.
Hi, Yuri.
MyFitterU.com.
He doesn't look like he has love handles.
Are we just going to talk about fitness, or are we going to do anything? Yeah, so this is one of these where I say, okay, well, I probably don't need to watch this in order to get the information that he's doling out to me. I could
Lonely
listen
Girl
to this in
13
my car.
style. Right.
Kind
right.
of, yeah. Gosh, I haven't thought about her in a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so sure. Okay, fitness podcast. You get the idea. The podcast app, really, Apple's podcast app is
It's all you need.
It's kind of, but you do have options. Now on i5 for the iPhone last week, I did mention Overcast, which is an audio-only podcast catcher.
So this is
and
Marco
app.
Arment, and it is iPhone only also, so we'll have to turn it sideways.
It
This
is,
Marco Arment's.
but for an audio podcast app, I don't feel that it's so weird to have something that's iPhone only. It looks perfectly fine unless you just love your album art.
Right.
These are my settings. If you go ahead and, no, I already did that, sorry. If you say, all right, I want to add a podcast, and you and I were talking about this before the show, Leo, what's nice is that Marco Arment, who is the Instapaper guy, used to work at Tumblr, great programmer, really well known, put together what he calls starter kits. And these are actually really helpful.
This is kind of cool because Marco, I think, made enough money from Tumblr that now he's just doing what he wants to do for fun. He sold Instapaper, doesn't do that anymore.
Right, yeah.
And I think this is a labor of love. He does a podcast, of course. And I think he felt like there ought to be a really good podcast app. I do wish he showed video.
Well, me too. And it's funny, when I was showing off this app on i5, I accidentally said, it's a great way to watch podcasts. Because, of course, in my mind, it's what I'm saying, because that's what I do. But yes, it is audio only. So for the, if you want to make the argument that commutes are getting longer, I don't know if that's true or not, but I certainly commute. Audio podcasts are my only choice. I'm not going to listen or I'm not going to watch video podcasts while I'm driving. But this is kind of a nice little collection of podcasts that are all related to Apple development. Probably would be of interest to a lot of people who watch this show,
That's the development thing. And actually Debug, which is Renee Ritchie's and Guy English's, is excellent. Mm-hmm. These are all good choices. And I think Marco understands that one of the challenges, and you could see it yourself, one of the challenges if you just say, I think this might be something I'd like to try, is that there's so many podcasts, hundreds and hundreds of thousands.
There really are.
Some of them are good, some of them are not. And it's a little bit, I think, bewildering for people who are used to a 500-channel TV universe to find or a 70-station radio universe to find what they want. So I like what Marco's done here. There's some other nice features in this. You can speed it up.
You
It's
can.
got smart speed up, which is good.
There is, let's go into my settings, the unlock everything
You pay for that.
feature. Yeah, so the app is free. There are some nice extras. For example, do you want to download something over your cell connection? Well, I certainly do, because my iPad is not always connected to Wi-Fi, so that's something I'm happy to pay for. The playback speed is actually quite nice. Voice Boost was something that I found extremely helpful when I was listening to the Serial podcast, because, like I said, they weave in some interrogation audio that's, at times, it's kind of hard to hear. So that actually helps clean up podcasts. It's also sort of designed
Just takes
for...
out the silences, which is funny.
That, and it just sounds better.
Yeah.
The voice boost, anyway.
Oh, you're talking about voice boost.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It just kind of normalizes volume. You'll also notice if you listen
All
or
of
watch
these are
enough
great.
podcasts is that, the audio is sort of all over the place. A lot of people don't put that much emphasis on, the right mics and all that stuff. So unlocking everything for, I believe it's $2.99. Is that right? $4.99. I'm sorry. I think it's really worth it. So you can think of this as a $5 app, but it works quite well. Like I said, you can search for something. You can, you can go ahead and add a URL. Obviously, that a variety of podcasts would have the link on their originating sites. You can search the directory for something specific. The only thing I will say about starter kits is, it's all kind of relative, right? If I say, ooh, tech, yeah, where are we? Okay, well, This Week in Google is one of the Twitch shows that's in the, the tech collection, but
which is nice, but not this show.
Yeah. So it's, you have to keep in mind that whoever's behind the development of the app might have a little bit of a say in, editor's choice type stuff.
Right.
That said, it's a really nice app. I like it very much. Which brings me to, I'm sorry, would you like to?
No, go ahead. What did you use before, though? What was your choice? Because this just came out.
Totally. Well, Downcast was my app.
I feel like
my podcast player of choice.
Marco made Overcast almost in response to the complexity of Downcast. I think Downcast is great, but it's a power tool, isn't it? It's for people who, look at it.
Well, it's weird. For some reason, okay, well.
Oh, actually, that's mine. But
that's your Downcast?
Yeah, look at
what's
all
weird about it?
Well, see, look how clean and simple Marco's was,
yeah,
right?
it's fully featured, and that might be a turnoff for some people.
Yeah, and it does have AirPlay, which is nice. That means you could send it out to your Apple TV and listen on your big speakers. Mm-hmm. But it has jump backward 30 seconds, jump forward 2 minutes, jump forward 30 seconds. There's a lot of stuff to this. There's sharing. It feels like, this is for professional podcast listeners, people who really want a lot of functionality, and there's a lot to be said for it. I think Downcast is a great choice. One thing, and you should pay attention to this with all of these. You mentioned it a little bit on Overcast on Marco's thing. Is you really look at this podcast discovery region. You could say, well, I really just want to know what podcasts there are in Belgium.
Aha.
And these are, I think, nice things, but there's a lot of this, okay? The first thing, though, you should look at in general, if you're using this on a mobile device, is look at all these settings. Settings about downloads, because one thing you'll discover immediately when you have a podcatcher, and that's what I'll call all of these things, on your phone.
Which is also a terrible term,
because it tablet. I agree.
Makes people think that they got to get a fishing rod out or something, Let's catch some podcasts.
I like that cast. But anyway, is that it's going to use your bandwidth. And you mentioned this in Overcast, and you always want to, before you even start using this, really go into the settings and say, for instance, if you're on limited bandwidth on your mobile phone, and this has this feature, Wi-Fi only, you might very well, if battery life is an issue, think about how often these feeds refresh. Many of these will be just downloading podcasts all the time in the background. And if you've got a long list of podcasts you listen to, that could really eat up battery, not to mention bandwidth. So maybe you want to put that on manual. And this is a nice feature that I don't think any other podcatcher has, that you can say what location you would. So like when I arrive home, or see what my current location is work, when I arrive to work, I want to download everything, or vice versa. When I leave, but now that would be the wrong thing to do. But when I leave, start downloading. Of course, that means
unless you're on an unlimited cell plan, grandfathered in.
But you could see why I think this is a complicated tool. Why Marco might have felt like, let's make something that's more elegant.
Sure.
And yet, if you want settings like this is the one. It has all of this stuff. For instance, how many episodes of the show do you want? All new, most recent? When do you get rid of episodes? When I've listened to it? Do you want to keep 4 of the most, I always want to have 3 unplayed of this show so that I have the 3 that I haven't listened to yet. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of features to this, but I think in any one of these clients, you want to look for at least those basic features so that you don't use up bandwidth, so that you don't use up battery, because a podcatcher like this, or like Overcast, can be downloading all the time, and that may not be
what you want.
Not only for bandwidth constraints, and for battery constraints, but also for space constraints. You could fill up your entire iPod or iPhone or iPad with podcasts before you know it. So these are things, and I think Downcast has the most amazing range of settings, but that also makes it the most complicated. I really like what Marco's done. It's very clean, very easy. You do have to pay the $5 to get the full features.
Yes.
So have you abandoned Downcast for Overcast?
No, I haven't. Well, first of all, if I wanted to watch something that was video, you know, like my yoga podcasts that I might listen to or watch one day, that I'm not really taking advantage of. But yeah, so certain things I'm not actually going to be able to use Overcast for. Overcast is it's like on the move. When I can't be looking at something.
It's a real traditional.
It's great, yeah. And it
audio
works.
only kind of thing.
So another thing about Downcast, before we move on, that I just want to mention is, and this I think is, you know, ooh, we got some glare on my iPad here, is that, okay, so I mentioned that the editor's picks can be good and also can kind of be limiting. It just depends on what you're interested in and what is being recommended to you. So let's go into tech again, just because we have something to compare it to.
Are we on this one?
Well, yeah.
Good.
But, you know, so we've got NPR, blah, 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 This Week in Tech's #3. It's the MP3 version, though. And
it's the audio version.
It's the audio version. And
now, this does do video.
It does. But for whatever reason, and it probably has to do with popularity, or I don't exactly know why they're stacking things with they're stacking. We've got Security Now. We've got... let's see
Techzilla's
Tech
there,
News Today.
I see.
So video, okay, there's video. So it's
I don't understand why they've done it. It probably is automatic, right?
It probably is, but again, when, let's say somebody is in the discovery phase, you might not know that there are audio and video options for certain shows. Not just shows on Twit, but a lot of people provide both.
Right.
So it's just, I think there's a little bit of kind of having to know what you're doing, which is a barrier to entry for a lot of people who still think that podcasts are, you know, they just want to turn on the TV and watch something.
I suspect most people will just stick with the podcasts that comes, well, it doesn't come with your iPad, unfortunately, but that is Apple's podcast app, and you want to download that one. Here's one that's more like radio, and I like kind of what they do here. This is called Stitcher. They were just sold to Deezer.
Yes.
Which is a European, soon come to the United States, music service. Stitcher is all audio, but it is really designed to be a way for you to make your podcast, kind of chain them together and listen to them in the car as your radio.
Stitched.
Stitched, there's the name. So they do have an excellent, I think, recommendation. They have, you can, for instance, because I've got Tech News Today on here, they're recommending other shows, some of which no longer exist. Buzz Out Loud hasn't been produced since 2012.
Okay.
But other shows that would be related. It has, you can find the entire Twit album art, show thing. Why am I getting magical? Oh, this is the ad, magical diamond slots. Popular and trending. What is that? What is this? They do a really good job, I think, of discovery, but better even of stitching these together into a playlist, because that's really the idea of Stitcher. Again, only audio, but an excellent, I think, tool for somebody who's looking for something to replace their AM radio as they drive to work. And I think for a lot of people, that's what podcasting means for them. I'm thrilled that Stitcher exists because I feel like this makes it easy to discover and easy to listen. And that's the two things that the industry as a whole needs. And I think that this is really designed, this is really designed as something that, you can just press listen and boom, it's there. Or listen later and it's subscribed to. And I think that is a very straightforward and easy to understand way to do this. Stitcher is free, by the way. So iOS 8, the podcasts comes with it on iOS 8?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Gosh, I thought it was already native on iOS 7.
It might be. Remember, they split it out of iTunes. Yeah. So I have
that was
it
a while ago, though.
Yeah, so okay, so good. Everybody has it then.
You've got it. You've got it if you want it. But you do have other options. One of the other options, and this is, again, it's an audio podcast app. It's called Castro. Now this is, if you said Downcast seems like it's too feature-rich, it's too confusing, you might say Castro's the exact opposite. If I want to go ahead and say, okay, well, I want to find a podcast here, Castro is not in the business of suggesting anything. It's like, well, okay, what do you want? So let's go back to tech, right? Let's see what we got in the tech. Tech guys, we can tech news today. Let's make it tech zen.
So these are all things with the word tech in them. So it's not
Tom Merritt.
searching a category, it's searching the word tech.
Yeah.
That's a disadvantage, of course, because there may be technology-oriented shows that don't have the word tech in the title.
Right. I mean, if you go and say technology,
Right.
biology, Sarah?
That's what you meant, isn't it?
Like, can we just say, with autocorrect is so weird sometimes. I mean, there's no way, and you know, there's 0% chance that I type the word biology more often than technology. I would know very little about photosynthesis, in fact. Yeah, so you get fewer results with technology because, again, yeah, it's searching specific stuff. Now, of course, you could enter a feed URL. That's sort of old school.
The worst way to do it, yeah.
You can open a URL from the clipboard. I just happen to have some Bloomberg article in here right now. This is not actually a podcast. Yeah, see, it's not a valid podcast feed. That was just on my clipboard. But, okay, so you say, well, all right, well, what else can you do? I was listening to an Ask Gary V episode, which actually I was confused about because, of course, he makes a big deal about this being his new video podcast, but of course you can only listen to it on Castro. So I was like, okay, it's definitely an audio podcast, that's fine. Or you have a variety of settings. The settings are actually nice. Playback speed, sleep timer, yeah, continuous play. Do you want to play the next podcast when an episode ends? I almost always want to, but hey, you've got options there. Streaming, Wi-Fi only, never always. How do you sort episodes? Yeah, your fast forward interval. I feel like 30 seconds is usually really good, where you're like, wait a second, I just missed the last 30 seconds of their conversation. But yeah, the settings go on and on. So in a way, it's a very simplified version of a podcast app, but I don't know, again, you've got options. Now, the weird thing about Castro, so Overcast is free with in-app purchases if you want to unlock some of the other settings.
Right.
Castro is not. You got to pay $3.99 right out of the gate. So again, I think it has a lot more to do with design than really anything else, because you can populate your feed with all of the same podcasts in any of these apps. I just think it's maybe a little bit of a weird choice for Castro to say, no, you got to pay $4 just to play.
I like it that Marco makes his free to try, and then you can add features. I think everybody already has the Podcasts app from Apple. But there are things, for instance, Podcasts doesn't let you play it faster. A lot of people like to play, for some reason, I don't know why, maybe I talk slow, but play our shows at 1.5 or 2x speed.
I think that they're just busy.
They want to get through it.
They want to get the information, and you know, let's get rid of our long, uncomfortable pauses.
Right. If you want to do that, or you will have to use a third-party app. If you want to skip ads, which I don't recommend, but the programs like Downcast have that skip forward thing. Apple doesn't. So I feel like Apple's the base, the beginning. Try theirs, and then if you start wanting more features, it makes sense to use these free ones first.
Yes.
Like Downcast or Overcast or Stitcher, and then maybe Castro if you say, I don't know what additional stuff you get from Castro.
In my opinion, it's not the one that I would recommend. Because I just don't feel like it's anything too special. Also, it's like, if you're not even going to give me some suggestions, well, I don't know. I know what I'm doing when it comes to podcast apps, but I think in general, someone would be like, well, how do I get started here? By the way, Norm just tweeted at us, and he says a great feature of Overcast, and it's right, because I did this over the weekend, you can sync on other devices. So if I buy Overcast on my iPhone, which I did.
You'll have it everywhere.
Yeah, and as soon as I downloaded it on my iPad, it was like, oh, you want all the stuff that you have synced on your iPhone?
Right.
Great. Okay, let's do that. That's one of the things you have to pay for.
Right.
So that's a nice in-app purchase feature.
Does it pick up where you left off?
Yes.
That's a really great feature. In fact, we've been thinking about, because we were thinking about what we would do if we were going to do a Twit app, and that's one of the most asked for features is, could you pick up where we left off? That would be a nice thing.
Everybody likes syncing these days.
We should point out that in addition to these dedicated apps, programs like Feedly and Pocket will play back podcasts You can subscribe to podcast feeds in Feedly. It's just an RSS reader, and it'll play them back. Pocket, you can save a show and listen to it later. And then many podcasts, like Mark Maron's WTF podcast, have their own, and ours, have their own dedicated apps, which are designed to make it easy to listen to that show. I think in some ways, the shows that are going to succeed the most are ones that are going to have their own apps. I know you don't want to load up your iPad with apps, but it's just nice to have a dedicated app that has all of the features you want.
Well, especially if you're
devoted to a channel. Like if you love exactly Mark Maron,
right.
There's nothing better than there could be additional stuff in there. I mean, I think it's a good thing.
Well, it's kind of like, a television station. You might like several of the shows on the Discovery Channel.
Right.
Not just the one.
You might Showtime Anywhere and HBO Go as opposed to having just, one app that has all of that stuff or something like that.
It's all up to you, man. You can just go nuts with all of your choices. Customize your life.
We should mention there are a number of Twit iPad apps. They're not created by us. They're created by third-party developers like Shift Key Software, Craig Mullaney, that's an excellent one, TwitPad. Mark Lane of Intentionally Blank does Twit Pro. I don't know Tom Chisholm, but here's another one. It's called TwitStream. These are great choices, and you can try them and see if you like them. And one of the advantages you'll have with these is it's dedicated, and so all of our shows there makes it very easy to listen to shows you like to, including iPad Today. And chat's usually in most of them, too.
Yeah, which is also good. Yes. I mean, you want to participate in chat, right? Make yourself heard. Okay, so we went through quite a few podcast apps just now. Podcasts, Overcast, Downcast, Stitcher, Castro. I think we covered everything just now. We will put all of the links to those apps in our show notes. Our show notes, you know where they are, twit.tv/IPT. Not only for all of our episodes do we include the show notes to the apps and news stories that we cover, but also our archives are there as well. And we've got embedded videos showing Leo and I in our bat outfits.
Were we both bats?
No, remember?
They somehow did some magic.
I was a bat, and
we had one mask.
And you were a ninja, and then we traded, and that didn't work out.
But somehow, are we both wearing bat masks?
No, you're a ninja.
Oh, that's the ninja. I can't tell. It just looks like a dark blob.
It's quite dark. Well, you just gotta, you gotta watch the show, Leo.
I wear my Batman mask to bed every night on my Casper
mattress. Do you?
Yes, it's a very comfortable combination.
Well, tell me more about Casper. Because it's
a bat mask could be a sleeping mask.
It'd be kind of cool if you were dressed as a ghost.
You know what's funny?
Sleeping like a ghost.
So we love our Casper mattress.
I'm getting one now.
Are you good?
I am. Because I've been jealous.
Lisa's sister came and stole ours.
Oh.
I came home and was gone, and
where are you gonna sleep?
Well, I'm gonna get another Casper mattress. No, she stole it out of our guest room because we want our guests to sleep comfortably too. Casper I love Casper. I am a big fan. It's an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the cost, but you may say, well, how am I going to know if I like a Casper mattress if I can't go lie on one in the store? Well, studies say, when I say study, I mean me, that 5 minutes on a mattress in a store isn't a good way, especially with the bright lights and the sales girl standing there staring at you, is not a good way to test a mattress. Wouldn't it be better if you could take it home, lie on it for, I don't know, let's say 100 nights, and then decide? Well, that's exactly what you can do with Casper. Oh, is that a comfy mattress? You can return your mattress, free delivery, painless returns, even within a 100-day period. So you have plenty of time to really see if you like your Casper mattress. I could tell you I love my Casper mattress. It's two technologies. It's a latex mattress, but memory foam topper. So it's both firm and flexible, comfortable, and yes, very sleepy. Even Ozzy loves the Casper mattress. Free delivery. They come in a box. That was a queen-size mattress in a box that size.
I saw you unloading it.
It opens up, and there it is. I liked it so much, I sent one to my son, who's in college. He got a Casper mattress. As I said, now Lisa's sister has a Casper mattress. Casper, it's a mattress so good people will come to your house and take it from you. Well, we gave Debbie keys, so it's okay.
You asked for it. She might have some jewelry of Lisa's as well.
It is a great mattress, and I want you to try it right now. $500 for a twin, $950 for the biggest they make, the king size. If you look in the stores, you'll see that for a premium mattress like this, those are Really low prices. And we're going to make it even lower because right now you can save an additional $50 when you go to Casper, CASPER.com/iPad today and use our promo code iPad today. $50 off your Casper mattress. And let me tell you, you're going to love it. But if you didn't, they come and get it. And it's easy to return.
A couple years ago, I was moving to a new apartment and somebody else was keeping the mattress, one of those things.
Yeah.
And I had to spend so much money just to get a mattress that was like okay. Casper's
and then you sleep on it.
So affordable.
And you go, oh, this is too firm. It seemed okay in the store.
Oh, yeah.
You can't tell. You really need to sleep on it. And more than one night, I think.
Well,
because sometimes a
absolutely.
mattress,
and
you won't have a backache.
Why do people pay $2,500 when you
Crazy.
get a great mattress for $900?
You will love these. You will love these. It's very easy. And because it's so compact, Henry moved out of the dorms this year. He's a sophomore into a house. And I needed an easy way to get him a mattress. And he loves it. I swear, he loves his Casper mattress. Casper.com/iPad today and get that iPad today code so you save $50.
They have a really nice website too. It explains a lot about.
Yeah, they
the
talk
work
about
that
how they make it. It's made in the U.S.
Yeah.
I know sometimes people worry about latex smelling like rubbery. It doesn't. It smells. It has no odor at all. It's great. It's really a nice mattress. I love it, and just a little bit of memory. Well, about much memory foam on the top so that it conforms to your hips and stuff. You don't get a sore hip on it.
Yeah.
But I like firm. It's actually perfect because, Lisa has hips because she's a woman, and so
You also have hips.
I have
actually.
hips, but not.
We've all got hips.
Not the hips, not wide hips. And so, a firm mattress doesn't bother me, but I like a firm mattress for my back. But she says, but it's got to give a little. It's perfect for both of us.
I'm so happy for you. I'm going to be happy for myself real soon.
When do you get yours?
I don't know. I have to double check.
I think you will like it.
Like really soon.
Take a video of you opening it. It's so fun. I was hoping Henry would do a Vine of him opening the box.
What's in the box?
Because-
A mattress. Hey, okay, so, all right, enough mattress talk. Let's talk about the Apple Watch. Now,
No,
I don't have it. Nobody has one, except Tim Cook and a few really lucky people.
Dre probably has one.
Dre probably has one, yeah. 9 to 5 Mac had a story this morning. It was a video,
Angela Arendts, who's the Senior Vice President for Retail Sales,
Yes.
did an internal video for the stores.
Right.
Saying, your guys are great, we love you.
Yeah, it's an internal employee video.
And mostly saying you're going to be working your butt off for some time to come. Including...
What she did say without, obviously...
She slipped it out, I think.
without, any specific dates. So she said, we've got the holiday season coming up. We've got the Chinese New Year. There's a big push for more gifts at end of February?
Yep.
And then...
The 19th, I think. Yep.
Yeah, and then we've got our Apple Watch launch after that. And so it was like, we're talking full-on spring. No, we didn't... This isn't like Apple has delayed anything because
Apple said early.
We never had a date.
They said early 2015.
How early?
When does early end?
I don't know. That was going to be my question for you. Is it April?
No.
Is April
That's almost
early?
halfway.
Well, so...
To me, personally, early is January, February.
Yeah, me too.
They still could do this because February 19th is Chinese New Year, so it could be, I'm pretty sure, and I think it was on Twitter, it was Ben Thompson who lives in Taiwan, and so he understands how important Chinese New Year's is for gift giving.
Yes.
He was pretty sure, he said, the smartest thing to do would be get that watch out in time for Chinese New Year. You know that Apple really is excited about the Chinese market, and the first public appearance of the Apple Watch was in Chinese Vogue. The model on the cover was wearing an Apple Watch. So we all figured, okay, put 2 and 2 together.
And the gold option, which is quite expensive,
Chinese
which would
New
be
Year,
like a special gift.
February 19th, China Vogue. Ben said they're going to have it out in time for Chinese New Year. So this might be a little bit of a disappointment, frankly, for Apple. They may not be able to get it in time, but I bet they'll try to be close.
And you never know. I feel like Apple sometimes tries to throw people off their scent anyway.
You think Angela put a little
it was like a
Easter egg in there?
I don't know. I mean,
gotcha.
that's a little conspiracy theory, but yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about the Apple Watch because I want to know how it'll integrate, particularly with the iPad, because that's not actually the gadget, the device that it's really being marketed as being awesome with. Well, it will.
Here's one
that
thing.
They're, the iPad is maybe less mobile than something like the iPhone for a lot of people.
But think about this. We were talking about Apple Pay and the fact that the iPad, even though it does have an NFC chip, it's not wired. There's no radio antenna on it. So you can't use, even though you have Apple Pay in the iPad, if you have iOS 8.1, you can't tap and pay with it. You can tap and pay with the watch. So maybe if you have the iPad in your purse and an Apple Watch, you'll be able to do the tap and pay.
Oh, you totally will.
What do you think? I bet you will.
I think it's a great idea.
Sure.
Yeah. Again, gotta have the iPad with you, but I always have mine with me.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right.
So that is sort of a big question mark, but figured we'd pass it along because some of you I know are kind of like, what's going on with the Apple Watch? When do we get that?
So
we don't know.
What would early 2015 mean to you?
To me, I think you're right about January, February. Maybe March.
Maybe, but that's not. I guess it's in the first quarter.
Yeah. The first 25% of the year, and not a minute later.
I think they want to get it out in the first quarter so they can show it in their quarterly results.
Yes.
And one of the problems with Q1 calendar year is Apple's, what is it, second quarter? I think it's its second quarter, Q2, because they do a fiscal year that's different. But that's traditionally a slow quarter for them because they do all their sales are in the holiday
It's post-holiday,
shopping.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So I think Apple would love to have a new product
right.
in the January, February, March first quarter.
Of course. Then it's like we're on the up and up. We don't
Yeah.
even care about the holidays. Look at all the stuff we could sell at all times of the year.
Yeah.
You know what they also are doing? Apple, who is now the proud owner of Beats Music.
Yes.
Apple has partnered with Southwest Airlines, which is flown by people in the U.S.
I fly it all the time.
It's a regional carrier.
Well, no, it's national, but it's just inexpensive and they don't have reserved seats.
Well, and they don't fly everywhere. It's
They
not.
fly, for instance, from Oakland to New York, to San Francisco, to L.A. I fly it a lot. I flew to Austin.
Yeah.
I mean, I fly there.
I'm just saying, there are probably people who say, I never really fly Southwest. Obviously, it depends on where you got to go. But Apple has partnered with Southwest to offer free in-flight Beats Music streaming. So
Wait a
next
minute.
time I'm taking Southwest flight to wherever I'm going, I know what you're asking. Like, how does that,
I use the airplane headphones and plug into the seat.
No, you have an iOS device.
Oh.
And Southwest will say, oh, you don't actually have.
You don't have to buy Wi-Fi. You just turn on the Wi-Fi.
Correct.
And now I can.
Correct. It's like
I
a
think
special.
they do that with DirecTV also. I'm
on
pretty
the
sure.
app.
Yeah.
So I know
if
they've
you-
got it on the backs of the seats now.
Yeah, but you can have
Maybe not
DirecTV
Southwest.
on your iPad. Is it Southwest? One of the airlines. I think it's Southwest. You can watch DirecTV. You don't have to buy the Wi-Fi, but they're using the Wi-Fi on their planes for that. So now they just add music too. That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. At least you get people familiar with Beats when they're definitely a captive audience.
Still waiting to hear what Apple is going to do with Beats Music.
Nobody
It's pretty
knows.
clear, as we mentioned last week, that since sales of records of music on iTunes is down hugely, that the streaming thing is what everybody's doing. We had said at that time they might rename Beats. I don't know if they'll do that. That's part of what you bought is the brand, right?
Well, I think that the idea that Beats headphones, which are well branded, whether you've got a pair or not.
The Apple Store has them all now.
Sure, yeah.
Did you see the
fine.
plane now has Beat headphones? The Southwest Airlines plane is wearing headphones.
Well, I think it was just one plane, like as a marketing
Okay.
push. But yeah, in the article it shows the Southwest Airlines is sort of wrapped in a Beats advertising.
Everybody thinks of Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine as the names with Beats, but Trent Reznor is their creative director. You know who Trent Reznor is?
I'm aware of who Trent Reznor is.
Yes, 9 Inch Nails.
Yes.
He's a drummer. I think he's the drummer. But he also does a lot of music. He for movies and TV shows.
He wants to feel you from the inside.
Don't sing that song.
I'm sorry. It's a good song.
I like it. It's one of my favorite songs.
Just wants to get to
but I don't
know
think you
you.
should sing it out loud.
He just wants to get to know you.
Anyway, I think Trent has already said he's very excited about working with Apple. He says Apple and he have been talking about some of the creative things he can do with Apple. And I don't think it's headphones. I think this is very interesting. And actually, of all the people, Jimmy and Dre, I think Trent is one of the most interesting, creative, talented guys out there. And I'm very intrigued to see what he could do He says he wants to create a new way of listening to music.
If anyone could do it, it's Trent. My bud. My man, Trent. Love ya. No, I'm.
What does he play? He's not the drummer. Is he the bassist?
Stop it.
What?
You're being stupid.
What does Trent do?
He's a lead singer.
Is that all? He just sings?
Yeah,
Does he have a cowbell? Does he have a triangle?
He
Does
might
do
play
anything?
the guitar sometimes, but
Okay.
he's the
That's
front.
it, he just
he's
sings.
the front man.
That's it.
He's the front man.
Sometimes the drummer sings.
Well, he's not Phil Collins. He's Trent Reznor. That's
Really?
enough.
I don't know why I thought he
Enough
was the drummer.
Gramps.
Why did I think that?
I don't
You know
know.
why? Because he's beefy. He
And
looks like
you think
he's
of a
got,
guy
he
who's
could
who's
bang
just
the skins.
He's a big dude. He's a big dude.
Strong guy.
Okay, let's move on to some more interesting relationships that Apple has with some large companies. Starwood Hotels, a huge hotel chain, has started to roll out the iPhone Apple Watch virtual room key.
I love that.
Yeah, which we saw back at, what was it, WWDC?
Yeah.
Or was it the iPhone event where they...
I think it was actually WWDC.
I thought it was.
The idea that you can unlock
but
your
we only
door.
heard about the watch in September.
Oh, you're right. So it must have been.
I think it was September. But yeah, the idea is that, you know, it's like Apple Pay for hotel rooms.
Right.
Not only do you not have to get a key from the front desk, because that can be super annoying if they're busy or...
You don't even have to check in.
No, you just go up there and get in.
They send you the
And
day before you arrive.
I was in Vegas recently, and they are still warning people when they give you your room key, don't put this next to anything magnetic
hate
because
that.
it'll strip out the magnetic and you won't be able to get back into your room
crazy.
at 2 in the morning when you're really tired.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I was like, how is this really still a problem at a huge hotel? So this would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know, Starwood is just going to be the first of a bunch of
Well,
companies. I think
Starwood is-
Hilton hotels are also on the list.
Starwood's the overall company, but I think it's only a few of their properties. Is it W's? It's only a few of it's not all of them.
It's more of the luxury.
It's the high-end ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool because you'll have to have the app, but you will get the day before you check in, you'll get the token and your room number, and you just walk into the hotel and you go right upstairs. And it will also work with the watch, but it will work with your phone. I love this idea.
3 Starwood brands, Aloft, Element, and the W. I've never heard of Aloft.
The Loft, yeah.
Aloft.
Aloft.
We are aloft in
Aloft.
our room in the penthouse.
W, and what was the other one?
Element.
I don't know that one either, yeah.
Well, we got to get out more.
Yeah.
It looks like there's an Aloft in Harlem.
I do like
in
hotel keys
Cupertino.
with RFID because you can't erase those. Like the Oyster card, you just tap it. But the
okay.
magnetic strips have got to go. I erase it every time.
They've got to go.
Got to go.
I remember that being something that you were warned about a few years ago, but this was just like a month ago. I was like, really? Okay.
They're getting old and worn out. Now
Yeah.
they demagnetize even
Just
easier.
let's all use our phones.
Not
The way that I use my phone at Whole Foods now when I want to buy a kombucha. Boy, is that fun. It would be nice if somehow I didn't have to enter my PIN, but I know that that's for my own safety.
Do you still have to enter your PIN?
Yeah.
You can just tap your phone and say, I'm here.
Well, you tap your phone,
Honey, I'm
so
home.
you save
You
yourself.
do finger ID?
You save.
Touch ID?
Well, yeah, but you
Okay.
still enter your PIN. At least at the grocery store that I'm talking about at Whole Foods.
You still have to enter your PIN?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You don't just touch your finger? Well, that's a pain. I thought the whole idea was not to do that.
Well, my first reaction was like, hey, this sucks, but it does not only keep me from having to get my credit card out and swipe it, but not having my credit card on me at all.
Right.
So again, if you're the kind of person who doesn't have a huge bag full of garbage like me, then don't even put your credit card in your pocket.
Jeff, you didn't have to enter your PIN, did you? Depends on the card. Some cards you have to enter your PIN. Some cards you don't.
Oh, I see, because it's my debit card. Duh.
Maybe that's it,
Duh.
yeah.
Okay, so I'll just hook up another credit card and then I'll just be ready to pay.
Bunch of new banks now signing in, including my bank, USAA.
I thought USAA was already on board.
I thought so too, but they weren't.
Oh, they just needed a few weeks.
They just needed to look at it more closely. Can we read the contract before we sign?
Yeah.
Most people just go, Apple, pay, signed.
Sorry, I just wanted to stretch my legs for a second.
Did you get special heels put on your shoes?
That's just the way that the shoes are.
They're funny.
It's just a brand, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, so I know that you're not so into rumors and speculation. However, I am. And I would like to talk a little bit about who's going to play Steve Jobs in the movie Jobs based on the book Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson.
We already said it's Christian Bale.
Christian Bale has apparently...
Has he bailed?
He has,
Did he bail?
Christian has bailed. This is according to Hollywood Reporter, who is,
They never said he signed. They said discussions.
I know. I just wanted it to be true because I had predicted it, and it made me look like I was a genius. So I'm a little bummed.
But we do know who they're talking to for Woz.
Yes, Seth Rogen.
And I asked Woz, how do you feel about that? He says, that's great.
Well, I would think.
Well, he wasn't so happy with the Ashton Kutcher movie.
Okay.
He really, and you can't get Woz to say anything negative about anything.
Right, he's a very positive person.
He really was insulted by the portrayal of him in the Ashton Kutcher movie. Yeah. Oh. I don't know if it was the actor, it was just the script. But he says he's happy about Seth Rogen. Because I was curious. I was like, how do you feel? I think that I would be honored if either Seth Rogen or Zach Galifianakis.
Galifianakis.
Either one, I would be happy.
Galifianakis.
Or, of course, my favorite, George Clooney.
As Woz.
No, as me. I'm just saying.
As you.
Wouldn't be honored.
How'd you get involved in this biopic? What? Do I get to be in it too?
I know. I should be in it.
I would like Halle Berry to play me.
The very famous scene with me playing volleyball with Steve Jobs.
In the movie of Steve Jobs, written by Aaron Sorkin and starring Halle Berry as Sarah Lane. A person who buys Apple products.
Yes.
Talks about them.
Yes. Noah Wiley was. Somebody's in the chat room saying Noah Wiley was the best Steve Jobs, but I think Noah is a little older now than when he did the Triumph of the Nerds, and so I don't think that he is available.
Well, you never know. Apparently, nobody's really signed on to this movie. I really wanted to be Christian Bale. I felt like it was so right, but
it was.
Maybe we need an unknown.
What they said in the Hollywood Reporter is the actor felt it wasn't right, so you should have called Christian.
He's an amateur.
And talked him into it.
I should. I still can. I'm sure I can get him to change his mind. He and I, we go way back.
Yeah.
So we got a dud tip, actually. This is kind of a nice little dud tip from Brennan in Ohio. It says, one thing I stumbled across was the ability to not only view all of your Safari windows in a nice overview, but also the ability to swipe them away when you're in this view to close out of individual windows. I'll go ahead and show you what Brennan is talking about while we're doing this. Okay, so I've got a few tabs open here, and so Brennan's saying, you can look at all of them together, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. He also says, so you've got a little X in the upper left-hand corner of all of your currently open tabs, but you can also just swipe the individual windows away.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Now you go to the right, that doesn't do anything. If you wanted to go full, that's fine. If you say, I don't want any of this, there you go. And now you're back to square one. I've got nothing open. These are just bookmarks that I have synced from my Mac. So yeah, I guess it seems really obvious, but I don't know that I ever did that before until you pointed that out, Brennan. Very good dud tip.
I think you can always learn something on the iPad. It's not that it's hard to use, it's easy, and that's part of the problem is you don't kind of dig deeper into the extra little stuff like that. You just happily go along doing it, and you don't really think about it.
There are just so many tips to be had.
They're little tips, and that's why we call them.
Right, duh.
Tips.
Duh.
Tips.
Duh.
Tips.
So when I'm done with my iPad Air, which eventually I
did you get a new one yet?
I haven't yet. I'm starting to have separation anxiety. I feel bad. I feel like it's like the used car that nothing's really wrong with.
Bingo! It's a 2010 Subaru, and you don't need the 2014 Subaru. You're happy.
I feel it's excessive. I'm going to do it, but it's excessive.
Are you going to do it?
Listen, it's your money. Now's the time.
It's conspicuous consumption.
One of these days, I'm not going to have that kind of a...
I didn't do it. What are you telling me something I don't know? Is there something I should know?
About?
One of these days, you're not going to have Sugar Daddy Leo buying your iPads for you? What do you mean?
I just feel like one day you're going to take that
privilege
away from me. I'm going to
Lane, I'm never buying you another iPad.
I'm going to do something terrible, and that.
I hope you don't feel like there's a sword of Damocles hanging over your head. No,
I'm just trying to be dramatic.
If I did that, I could no longer have Zach Galifianakis play me.
Galifianakis.
I memorized his name just in case. Actually, somebody said Jack Black should play me.
Should play you?
Yeah. That's good. He doesn't have my rich depth of soul.
He doesn't have your voice. I think the
No.
voice is very
It
important.
should be that guy in Magnum P.I. with a little mustache. That's who should play.
Tom Selleck?
No, the other one.
Tom Selleck should play Leo of all the actors I've always felt.
No.
Physique-wise.
Yeah, he's the same.
Sex appeal.
I look so good in short shorts.
So when I do get the new iPad Air 2,
Yes.
what do I do with this guy?
You give it to me.
Oh, okay. What are you going to do with it?
I'm building some furniture.
Are you? And the iPad is going to be part of your furniture?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for your old iPhone too.
Oh, it's right in here.
No hurry.
I keep,
You know what I do?
I keep it in my purse because I'm just like sometimes I
is
just
that funny?
sometimes I just touch it and I'm
Do
like,
you keep it charged?
look, I could touch my fingers to each other.
It used to be so small.
I can't believe it's very weird how quickly. I know I
And you didn't
sound like
even
a
get
broken
the-
record.
Oh, you did get the 6
I
Plus.
did get the 6
Yeah.
Plus, which this is it. This is what I do now. This is my life.
Monster.
And now I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know.
Well, I got somewhere to put it. And that
Well,
old
I'm not
iPad
actually
too.
giving that to you right now.
I'm gonna go to gazelle.com.
Are you? You and Tom Selleck?
Not that one, the other guy on
He's
the show.
so handsome.
What was the guy on the show? He had a very good voice.
I
like
don't really
that.
remember the
Do you
show,
remember that
actually.
guy?
I only remember Tom Selleck.
He had one name. It was like Snyder or something.
Oh,
No, that was Snyder was in One Day at a Time. That guy could play me, though. I'm going to send this and every other item that you give me to Gazelle, and I'm going to get cold hard cash. Higgins, that's who it was. Higgins. I am Higgins. I want him to play me.
I don't really think I ever watched it.
Gazelle.com will buy your used iPhone, iPad. They'll even buy broken iPhones or broken iPads. And they give you cash on the barrelhead, my friends. Here's how it works. You're going to go there, Gazelle.com, and you're going to get a quote. That quote is good for 30 days, so you do not have to act on it right away. You have time to do what Sarah's doing, to mourn the passing of your little phone, to carry it around in your purse for a few extra days, or even just to get the new phone, to transfer your data over and all of that.
Yeah.
But so 30 days is lots of time, and it's why you should go get a quote now, because these things are dropping in prices. Look at that. Your old iPad Air is worth, what, $300, $290. That's nice.
Let's
And
go
yours is a good
shopping.
See, that's why I want your old one. I want to sell it at Gazelle.
Well, I don't blame
Gazelle. Payment is fast, within just a few days of your item being received. They will, and they did this to us. We took an iPhone 4, sold an iPhone 4 to them just the other day. It was, there's this trickle-down thing. That was Michael's phone, and now he's got the 5 because we trickled down to the 5. And so we sold the 4, and we got a quote of $35. We thought, hey, better than nothing. We sent it to them. They came back $120 check because I guess it had more memory than we thought or something. But that is so cool. I'm telling the story again and again because that's an example of why Gazelle is great. They will actually give you more money than they promised. They'll give you what it's worth. And if you forget to wipe your data, it's okay. They'll do that for you. They buy a variety of products, not just iPhones and iPads. They'll also buy Macs. They'll buy displays. They'll buy tablets from all the big manufacturers, Samsung, Google's Nexus tablets, Surface tablets from Microsoft. So get the offer. Once you get all the stuff together, check out. They'll send you a box with postage paid box, so you don't have to pay the postage on this. Turn it around in just a couple of days. Now, you do have one more choice. You can get a check. That's the default. But you can also get PayPal, which means you'll get it faster. Or, and you'll get more money if you do this, get an Amazon gift card. They bump the price up 5%. So you get a better deal if you do that. It works if you buy a lot of stuff on Amazon. I do. Gazelle.com. Get an offer for your iPhone, your iPad. Lock in the price for 30 days. Do it now. Gazelle.com. Don't let those gadgets gather dust sitting in your drawers. That's like leaving a $100 bill just lying. You wouldn't do that, would you?
Don't do it.
Have you ever gone in a drawer and opened it up and there's a couple $100?
No.
No. Because there's a $100 bill in there. You don't just sit there and let it sit there and gather dust. You take it and you spend it. That's crazy to leave hundreds of dollars worth of stuff in your drawer. Sell it to Gazelle, Gazelle.com. That's all I'm going to say about it. The end.
Participate in capitalism.
Higgins. Can you find a picture of Higgins?
Yeah, find a picture of Higgins. Hey.
That's him.
Oh.
That's going to be the guy who plays me.
Yeah, sure. I could see that.
It has a great voice. He sounds
Your
like
eyebrows are kind of on par with each other.
Actually, many people don't know this, but I am Higgins.
Ah.
I actually was in the show
You're looking really good.
with Tom.
You're looking very good.
Me and
Yeah.
Tom like that.
You and Tom. So there's a really great story that was sent in last week, and we didn't get to it because, well, we ran out of time. So I decided that Don Cornelius, who you recognize from our chat room, deserved to still have the story.
The great show, Soul Train.
Right. That Don Cornelius.
Yep.
Don says, this is the incredulous story of how a lost iPad came home. One day before the new iPad Air 2 was announced, I lost my iPad Air on a train while being distracted by a pretty lady.
Yes.
I thought I placed it on the back of my bag, but it was on top. I got off the train, it slipped off the bag onto the seat. I didn't know it was missing though until it was too late. So from a laptop, I did find my iPhone, which of course works for iPads too, via iCloud. Left my phone number on the lock screen, set the iPad to be erased, left a voicemail for Amtrak, he was on an Amtrak train, lost and found. And then a week later, Amtrak calls him, says, we've got your iPad, and they shipped it to the closest Amtrak station for Don to pick up.
You're kidding.
Not even a little bit. He says, I picked up my iPad, good condition. There were signs that somebody had tried to wipe it, though, and maybe break into it. He said the iPad had also been upgraded to iOS 8.1.
What?
Yeah, he left it with 8.0.2.
That's pretty funny.
And came back with 8.1.
It was nice of Amtrak to do that for him.
Well, he
I didn't
says...
know they had that service.
He says he thinks probably thieves got a hold of it, and then the activation lock frustrated them, and then they just kind of dumped it somewhere that was near Amtrak, and so it was able to be found again. He says, so what was the moral of the story? Obviously, just try not to lose your iPad, but things that he did right. Setting up every Find My iPhone,
Yes.
iPad for all your devices, absolutely essential. I mean, sometimes I even will misplace, well, maybe not with my huge iPhone 6 Plus, but every so often I'll misplace my phone.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you do a Find My iPhone on your iPad, say, and you're, sitting in the same...
I know it's in the apartment somewhere.
But at least you know that much.
Well, that's true.
Right?
You didn't leave it on a train.
Or you're like, oh my gosh, I left it on the counter of the coffee shop down the street. Oh my gosh.
So what did he looked it up and it was in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and he said, how did it get to Wyoming? Oh, it must be on the train.
Yeah. That happens too, or airplanes. All of a sudden the iPad is...
Can I just say this? I've lost many an iPad and a Kindle on an airplane. You go back 5 minutes later, it's gone. So Amtrak.
But what I'm saying is...
He did it right.
You could still look it up and be like, wait a second.
Okay, but I gotta say, people sometimes think they found the iPhone and they go and get it.
Do not be a vigilante.
Guy could shoot you.
Right.
So don't do that.
Don't do that.
Guy
Get
might
the
have a
authorities
knife.
involved.
Might have a lead pipe.
He also says he thinks
rope?
that having a 5-digit passcode, which is something that you can do, you can have a longer passcode than the stock 4-digit passcode, was
true.
also helpful.
But you know what? Here's the deal. 4 digits is plenty if you turn on that thing that after the 10 times, it erases itself.
Right.
Because, with 4 digits, there's 10,000 possibilities. This brings up an interesting point.
Let's talk about your point. Your point is...
Usually if I comb my hair just right, you can't see it. The point is, the other day, this happened to me, and I should actually bring this up with Steve Gibson. You enter a 4-digit code for your iPhone or your iPad, and Apple says, oh no, that's too easily guessed, try another one. In this case, it was something like 1119.
Okay.
But because numbers were repeating.
Yeah.
Anyway, they have some algorithm. I don't know what it is. But a bad guy who knew what the algorithm was, and it wouldn't be hard to figure out by just trying some things, could then eliminate from the total pool of 10,000 a significant number that Apple won't let you use because they're too easy to guess. That's not good security. You're actually shrinking the pool by doing that, Apple. If they are too easy to guess, okay, but you still have to guess all 10,000. If you take out 500, that's less secure. Am I right?
That's 9,500.
saying.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Use your noggins.
Well, I see what they're trying to do, but yes, you're right.
Yeah.
They are actually making it that much easier.
Easier for bad guys. Now, the activation lock is great. And that's new, right? In iOS. When did they put that in? 8?
It was 8.
That means...
I think so.
Do you have to turn that on?
No.
So that means if you have to have a passcode. But even if they somehow guess your passcode, they can't, even if they connect it to a computer and wipe it, they can't just reuse it. You have to log in to your Apple account to use it.
That's right.
That means nobody's going to steal your iPad anymore because it's no good to them.
Well, I certainly hope not, because that blows.
Well,
okay.
we got to get the word out to the bad guys.
We're watching you.
Bad guys.
Go find something else to do.
There's no point in stealing Sarah's iPad anymore because she's got activation lock on.
Right.
Same thing with the iPhone.
Yeah.
You wonder, are bad guys smart? Because they always say, oh no, if you have a kill switch on phones, it really reduces the number of phones that get stolen. Are bad guys that smart? Do they kind of figure this out quickly?
Sure.
The word goes around?
Yeah.
Hey, don't steal any more iPads. They got activation lock or some such thing.
Word gets around for sure. You know, there was one, speaking of losing your iPad. Losing my iPad that's a very stressful situation, and it has not happened very often, thank God, but it has. There was actually a night, I think you might have even been there, where we all went to Taps after work,
and you
had
were
a couple
crying.
beers. I was not crying. I don't cry.
I've never seen you cry.
Oh, yes, you have.
Oh,
Actually.
really?
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to think
I cry
back.
all the time.
Really?
No, not that either.
No, you're not a crier.
I think I'm a reasonable person. Yeah. Anyway, I
remember that time I stomped your foot.
No.
No?
I wouldn't cry over that. Just get even. We were at Taps. I don't know what happened. iPad slipped out of my bag, but I didn't realize what was going on.
Oh, I remember that.
I live quite far away.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 45 miles away from here.
She lives in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
And I got home. I had been in my car, so obviously I wasn't using my iPad. Yeah. And I had a big bag, not the one I have now, but it was, and I'm sort of like, where's my iPad? Wait a second, wait a second.
That's a horrible feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm in my car, where is it?
Oh, I hate that
So
feeling.
finally I find my iPad. It was either on my phone or my Mac or something, and sure enough, there it was inside the bar. And nobody stole it.
Did you come all the way up?
Well, no, because it was
you
late.
didn't leave.
It was late at that point.
So you called and you said, tomorrow, would you... and they returned it.
Yep.
I got an even better story.
What's that?
We're on Southwest Airlines, as a matter of fact. Lisa leaves her iPad on the plane. We get off the plane, she leaves her iPad on the plane. Now, remember I said that you'll never get it back? Well, I was wrong. Unfortunately, we were the last plane of the night flying into Oakland. The place is clearing out. It's empty. We have already gotten off the plane, collected our luggage, and Lisa goes, oh my God, I left my iPad on the plane. Well, in order to get back to the plane, you have to go through security, right? We're already out in the, we've left the sanitized zone. Why do they call that a sanitized zone?
I didn't know they did.
Yeah, they do.
It's because we've all gone through the security and the screening and the bombs and the,
doused in alcohol.
Yeah, you know, they spray you. You're fine.
She goes, and this was a great story. She goes to the TSA. Actually, I go over to and I'm trying to get back, and the TSA said, you can't. In fact, we're going home. There's no more planes. Oh boy, this is not good. So Lisa comes over to the TSA agent and she says, could you please? And he talks to one of his colleagues. She, even though it's time to go home, goes back to the gate, goes back to the plane, gets the iPad, comes back with it, and gives it to Lisa. Thank you, TSA. That was the nicest thing I've ever seen. It was quitting time. But they didn't quit. The TSA never quits.
I wish I felt so good about them. Actually, I don't know. I don't really have any bad
It's funny,
TSA
they say you
stories.
feel good to them.
I'm like, you want to pat me down? Go for it. I mean, I could think of worse things than being touched by a stranger.
Yeah, they always, in fact, they don't even really ask anymore. They just go, let me see what's going on there.
Yeah, and they kind of go like this.
Because you know why?
Because I might have something hidden under my...
I have a lot of zippers. And all my clothing is full of zippers.
Well, you just don't fill it up with gadgetry when you're going through the... Anyway.
No, but I don't have anything in my pants pockets, anything, but because I have zippers everywhere, I go through the micromillimeter scanner and I light up like a freaking Christmas tree.
Well.
And the guy says, what the hell? And then he says, I gotta touch every part of your body now. Okay.
By the way, I'm kidding. We should not all be touched by strangers, unless, of course, we're hiding guns or something. Okay,
anyway,
so
thank you, TSA. They really did.
They
went
above and beyond.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
They probably had nothing better to do.
It was this big guy. She gave him a hug and a kiss. It was really nice.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Hey, so check this out. Brian, are you ready? I'm going to show you something amazing. So let's say you got your iPad. Oh, maybe you're on a plane and it's like like a red eye, and you're like, you want to play some dots, but you just don't want it to be too
I know
bright.
that feeling. And you need to play dots.
I do that on airplanes all the time, man, if it's non-Wi-Fi. But you're like, you know, this is a little bit bright. I don't want to bother the person next to me. Check this out. Triple tap.
Yeah.
Hey.
What the hey?
I just dimmed my pad.
Triple tap.
Well, no, you
Doesn't
can't
do it on mine.
You can't do it because you haven't set it up yet.
Oh.
This is actually, Damon wrote in, he passed along this tip that came from MacStories.net originally. Here's what you do. It's actually, I never would have ever gotten in here alone. So you go to settings.
Settings.
Then you go to general. Then accessibility.
Accessibility.
All right.
All
Then
right.
zoom.
Zoom.
Then you want to make sure that zoom is turned on.
Okay, turn on zoom.
So you're turning on zoom.
Well, I hate it when zoom's turned on because now everything's zoomed.
Tap 3 times with 3 fingers.
Tap 3 times if the ceiling, if you...
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Right? Then tap choose filter.
What the heck?
I know, it's crazy in the pop-up menu.
I've never
then you
seen
choose
this.
low light. Now I've already chosen
Choose
that,
filter.
but I had to do that originally.
You have inverted grayscale inverted, or low light.
That's
okay?
right. Okay, so Leo's going through it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so now make sure that your zoom region is set to full screen zoom.
Full screen zoom. Yeah, because I don't want to zoom. Uh-oh.
What?
Uh-oh.
Then, okay, so then you triple tap again 3 times to zoom out, view the entire page.
Uh-oh.
Okay, all right, there you go, there you go.
Uh-oh.
Now you can turn zoom, all right.
Uh-oh.
Triple tap, Leo.
Something's wrong.
Wait, you know what? Oh my gosh, you're so, okay, there you go. Okay, everybody cool,
Okay,
everybody cool.
that's your screen. Okay, good, cool,
Yeah.
cool, we're cool.
Yeah.
It's dim.
Okay,
Now if I
you can
triple
turn.
tap?
Now you can turn zoom off. Wait, go back, go back, go back. You're not done yet.
Oh.
You can turn zoom off.
Oh, everything's normal again.
Then you go to general accessibility, accessibility shortcuts.
Louise, this is crazy.
General accessibility shortcut. Way down at the bottom. Way down at the bottom.
Way down. Okay.
There you go. There you
Yep.
go. And then
Turn
you
those
say,
on.
then you say zoom.
Zoom.
Because you just set your shortcut.
But it won't zoom because I turned off zoom.
No. Check it out. So go press your home button. You're back at home. Home.
Yep.
Yep.
Now triple tap.
Now triple tap. Hey.
Now I can play dots.
Boom goes the dynamite.
That is the weirdest tip I have. That is not a dud tip.
No.
That is a
That's a.
black diamond tip.
Can you juggle? No. Well.
I don't think
that's
I can
not
turn
relevant.
this off now. I don't even know where it was.
Doesn't matter. What were you triple tapping before? Triple tapping before for nothing. Now you've got a cool tip that you can say, oh, this could be a fun little like mean trick to play on people that you don't like. Oh, well, your iPad must be broken or something. Everybody knows you can triple tap to dim. That's actually not nice. Don't do things like that unless you have a nemesis and then totally do it. And
Do
who
you have a
doesn't?
nemesis?
There's so many.
Is he evil?
How do you know it's a he?
Oh, a nemesis. Your nemesis would be a woman, wouldn't it?
I don't actually have any nemesi.
I have several nemesis.
But I have, you know, that's a funny little trick in Siri, because Siri will understand if I say Leo Laporte is my nemesis, and then I say something like, Siri, call my nemesis. She'll call you.
That's awesome!
I know.
Now that's another dud tip. Look, you got 3 today.
I actually showed that off on i5 once, and I got these people tweeting. They're like, "That's so stupid."
No, that's great.
I'm like, what?
But you could do it with
You
anything,
don't know
right?
how to have fun.
Could you do it with anything? Like, say, you
Yeah.
know, Sarah Lane is my secret sweetheart, and then call my secret sweetheart, and it would come up?
Let's try.
Nemesis.
Leo
Or
Laporte is my secret sweetheart. Whoa.
Okay. I put nemesis in there by accident.
Well, I don't know
Don't
what
show-
just, I
don't
don't know
show
what just
that.
happened.
So I think nemesis is like a special field, like
Hold
mother,
on.
father, sister, brother. Shh.
If you don't be quiet, I can't try
Not gonna
this.
say anything. Shh, quiet. Sarah's now going to speak to Siri.
Leo Laporte is my secret sweetheart.
Be quiet. Oh my God, I can't believe she just said that.
Which Leo Laporte? Is it Leo Laporte or? Okay.
It's the right Leo Laporte.
Okay, it's the pile of poo Leo Laporte. Okay, hold on.
Wait a minute.
Leo Laporte.
Wait a minute.
Oh my gosh!
Don't skim over that part.
It's because you have 2 different numbers, and one of them I put a little pile of poo emoji in. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. This isn't even your iPad.
Don't show it, because it'll show my phone number.
It won't. It won't.
Sorry, I keep talking.
You're the
Shut up.
worst. Leo Laporte is my secret sweetheart. Do you want me to remember that Leo Laporte is your secret sweetheart? Yes.
So from now on, shh, I can't talk. Stop.
Well, now, I don't know.
Quiet.
I don't know what's going on. Just, you know what? There's too much pressure. Yes, it works.
I got her to say that I was her secret sweetheart 4 times.
I know. Yeah, some secret, huh? So, okay, so that's kind of fun. That's just a fun little
neat.
thing on the fly.
I love that.
Siri tricks on the fly.
My nemesis.
Yes, we're nemesis.
Nemesis.
Got an email from Ken in Chesapeake who says, I'm as big an Apple fan as the next guy. I love my iPad Air, but I think they missed the mark on a couple issues. I don't think the iPad needs to get any thinner. It would have been better if they just left the thickness the same and added a bigger battery. Imagine having an iPad with like 15 or 20-hour battery life. The other thing I've been waiting for on the iPad is multiple user accounts. Not every family can afford to have an iPad for everybody. Multiple users accounts would make it easier for families to share an iPad. I can only hope that iOS 9 would address this issue. What do you think? Well, they did make it quite a bit easier in iOS 8 to have multiple iTunes accounts.
Well, remember when we
families.
were talking about the rumors around iOS 8 that somebody had looked in the code base and did find some indications that there would be multiple user accounts on the iOS, and we thought it would come with iOS 8. I am not sure why it's not there, but that capability is buried deep within iOS 8. I don't know if we'll have to wait for iOS 9. I wouldn't be surprised if an 8.2, for instance, turned it on. I'm not sure why they didn't implement it, but they clearly were planning on implementing it. As for the other, I completely agree. Nobody's saying, please, the iPad, it's so thick. We talked about this before.
We talked about it
Give
last week
more
because I
battery.
didn't really think that there was much of a difference. It's
You
thinner,
could barely, it's
I
1
guess,
millimeter. That's
but
not
I'm
enough to
not
make
really
it.
noticing.
But by the way, 15% smaller battery, so that makes a big difference.
Yeah, because the iPad's battery is, when fully charged,
Right.
it's you know, it's awesome. Like when I see battery 100% with my iPad, even if I'm home and I'm close to plugs,
Right.
power, you know, I'm just
cool.
like, I've got all day, I don't have to think about this.
And I think
can
that
just
is
hold it.
true. Very few people say, oh, I wish the iPad had a longer battery life. That does
In
not.
general, I feel like, yeah, for as long as you charge it overnight or whatever, you're actually quite pleased with it. But Ken, we respect your opinion and glad that you shared it. Let's move over to voicemail. We actually got a voicemail from Tim who has a little question about iOS.
Hi, Sarah and Leah. This is Tim in Overland Park, Kansas. Kansas City Royals fan, congratulations to your Giants. Got a question. I have an iPad 2. I've been hesitant to download iOS 8.1. I was hoping to upgrade to a mini, but since they really didn't change anything, I'm thinking about waiting a year. Is it safe to install iOS 8.1 on an iPad 2 yet? Thank you.
It's not a question of safety, it's a question of speed.
Yeah.
It's,
Right.
I think, in my opinion, it's probably not a good idea, and I know that's very frustrating.
It's just going to slow everything down.
Apple will let you on anything except the iPad 1 put iOS 8 on it, but I just feel like it's not a good experience for most people. So, yeah, it probably will be slower.
I mean, that's what everybody says. I'm not running iOS 8 on.
I don't have any experience with it.
8.1.
I don't know where my iPad 2 is. Probably on Gazelle. But everybody says, not the greatest. A 3, no problem. A 4, absolutely, because that's really considerably faster. But a 2, which is funny because Apple still sells basically the Mini is an iPad 2, and they still sell for a long time they sold the iPad 2 itself. So they sell the base model non-Retina Mini. That's an iPad 2. I guess they ship it with iOS 8, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it is okay. I don't know.
I mean, it's not going to hurt you.
No, it's not dangerous. It's not bad. It would be
Yeah.
speed. It would be the only issue.
And that actually is, this iPad has been a little weird with me lately, and I think a lot of it has to do with just the fact that, I don't know, I have a lot
think
of
it's RAM. I'll
stupid
be
apps
honest.
on here.
They
That
doubled
too.
the amount of RAM in the new iPad, which should make a big difference in speed. And I feel like that iOS 8 probably would like a gigabyte of RAM. And your old iPad doesn't have it. The iPad 2 doesn't have it. You know, interesting, the rumor mill is swirling a little bit again with this iPad Pro. They've been talking about a 12.7-inch iPad, not 9, and which would be probably the same size as a 12-inch MacBook Air. And the rumor that I saw, and who knows, we don't do rumors, but I'm going to give it to you anyway.
We don't do
'cause
rumors
you brought
except
this
when
up,
we do.
is that they might discontinue the Retina. That the Retina, the fact that they did so little to improve the Retina this year kind of is an indicator that maybe they feel like the Retina, I'm not the Retina, why do I always call it the Retina? The Mini, it's the Mini with Retina. That's
Right,
why.
yeah.
That the Mini is not long for this earth.
It's too bad because...
I like the Mini.
Well, but I do too. I do. But it's never my primary iPad, ever. In fact, yeah, I just prefer the full-size iPad.
Yeah.
Speaking of full size, we got a sort of an Ask Leo question from Les, which actually goes exactly into what you're talking about. It says, I'm probably not the only person asking, but, you know, I wish the new iPad was multitasking. Weren't we supposed to, you know, we saw some rumors about that too. I have an older Retina display iPad. I was hoping to give to my granddaughter, but there's no multitasking in any of the new iPads. Maybe that 12.9-inch, or possibly 12.7 at this point, version that's rumored for next year might have multitasking. Whatever happened to that? Now that truly was a rumor. We never saw that in action. Apple never said we're going to be able, you know, we're going to give the ability, for example, to have half of your iPad screen as, you know, Safari browser and half of it be your Twitter client. Apple never said that they were going to do that, but that did get thrown around a bit.
So the issue on that is, first of all, there is multitasking on the iPad. For instance, you can run Pandora at the same time as you're doing something else.
Yep.
What you mean is windowing, the ability to
Yeah.
have two programs running at the same time on screen.
That's what he means,
And
I think.
I'm sure that's what he means. And we did see, this is another case of a little code archaeology. Xcode had in it, the new Xcode had in it the capability, or there were, the app could say, what happens if I'm windowed? And that implied that, yeah, Apple was thinking about this. And I think they still are. I think that at some point they will have that capability. We did, remember, that was another one of those rumors that's what we'd see with the new iPads, and that's not what happened. I bet you an iPad Pro would have that feature. I think Apple may have said, you know, the screen's just not big enough to do that.
I don't think it is. Well, it's
People
not
do
that
it on a
it's-
Galaxy Note 4 and
it's
Note
not that
3.
It's not, I don't know. It's maybe maybe I can't see outside of the box, as it were. Maybe I would really like it. For now, I feel like the multitasking situation that we've got going on, double tap and choose your app and fast
that's
switching,
sufficient.
it's
Yeah.
pretty sufficient for me anyway. Lots of great feedback this week. Thanks to everybody who emailed us and left us voicemails and tweeted and all that good stuff. We love hearing from you. You can write us at iPadtoday@twit.tv. You can leave us a voicemail like our friend Tom. Was it Tom? Yes. Tim. Like our friend Tim did. 757-504-IPAD is our voicemail box. Questions, comments, app ideas, all that good stuff. We'll take it. If you want to send us a video of anything, you could do that too. Just upload the video and send us the link.
We like to see the videos.
I love the videos.
Yeah.
Those are brave people. I know it's sometimes kind of hard to put together a nice, concise video about a question or something that you'd like to share with the group, but do it. Do it now.
And wear a hat.
And wear a hat while you're doing it. And preferably something nice and warm because we're starting to get into the winter months.
I'm ready.
Here in the U.S. of A., we moved back to standard time on
got this
Saturday night, Sunday morning, I
In
guess it
St.
was.
Petersburg. Did you know that you can do this?
Yes, because you've shown me several times over the years. But it's always like the first time every time. I love it.
This is the time in the show where we don.
Before we do that, though.
Do I have an ad?
Yes, Leo. Yes, Leo. I set you up, you know, for the spike.
The spike, and I missed it. I went whiff.
We're
Instead,
not going to win
I
the
put on a
Olympic
hat.
volleyball champion.
Our show
acting
today
this way.
is brought to you by Personal Capital.
Or football.
Personal Capital is the place that helps you prepare for your future. You know, I shouldn't wear a silly hat when I'm talking about Personal Capital because I lose all credibility. I started using Personal Capital a couple of years ago when its founder, Bill Harris, was on our program. He's on Triangulation and told me about this new thing he was starting up that would help people manage their money and, most importantly, manage their retirement accounts so they could plan for the future. Personal Capital is the tool, and I've been using it ever since. I love it. It'll take you just a minute or two to set up. It's completely secure. You'll set up all your accounts, and now you'll have a dashboard on your iPad, your iPhone, on your computer, and even on your Android Wear watch. They now have Android Wear watch apps that will let you see exactly what's happening to your assets, your home, your car, your loans, your credit cards, most importantly, your investments. They'll help you manage your investments. They'll help you tune them So that for instance, they have a 401 calculator. It tells you if you're paying too much in fees. They'll tell you if you're paying somebody too much to manage your money. If you're one of those people like me that likes to manage yourself, they'll give you lots of tools to do that. I love Personal Capital, and why not do it? It's free. Go to personalcapital.com/iPad today. Sign up. I would do it on your computer because it's easier to enter all that stuff in, and then get the app for your iPad or your iPhone. And boy, it is so great to just be able to look at those graphs and know what's happening. It is, as Macworld Magazine says, the best free finance tracking app available anywhere. personalcapital.com/iPad today. Get it today!
Do it now. Now put that hat back on and let's get festive. Hey, this is a part of the show.
Oh! There's a tiger in
I'm
here.
a tiger. You know, I was sort of saving this because until baseball season was over, I felt like I might be, confusing people.
You don't want to compete with the panda.
Right. I felt weird about it, right? Because, well, anyway.
I should be wearing my panda hat.
You should be. I don't know why you're not. Missed opportunity.
Get my panda hat, please.
We haven't even talked about the Giants winning the World Series last week, but they did. So everybody's happy about that.
Are you wearing orange nail polish just for that reason?
It was
orange and black?
It was Giants and
Look at that.
Halloween.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought so.
Isn't it great that not only the Giants win the World Series, but the big parade celebrating it with the ticker tape and everything was on Halloween in San Francisco. And the Giants' colors are orange and black, so it's perfect.
It worked, yeah.
Throw me the panda.
It was kind of an S show, if you know what I mean.
People don't.
That parade was
Did you
raining.
go to the parade?
Well, I walked through. It was really crowded and raining and kind of dreary.
I watched it on TV.
But
for 4.5 hours.
Well, so did my mother.
So one of our players, Pablo Sandoval, who probably won't be our player much longer because he's a free agent, great player.
Let Pablo earn. That's one of the little hashtags that people use.
At the end, one of the Giants, Hunter Pence, who's known for his inspirational speeches, he goes out and says, "I want to hear 3 yeses. Do you love the Giants? Yes, yes, yes." And he said, "For this one, I want 5 yeses. Should Giants keep Pablo Sandoval? Yes, 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 yes. 26 hits in the postseason, a record." Anyway, those of us who are fans of Pablo like to call him the Panda.
And wear the hats.
And
it's very
is
popular,
the Panda hat.
and especially for chilly nights at the stadium. Anyway, this is a part of the show where Leo and I wear hats. They're not always animal style.
I do like it that you're wearing a tiger and I'm wearing the Panda.
Kind of good, right? Yeah,
Let's call Hunter Pence the tiger.
There was a really nice gentleman who came in and watched the show some weeks back.
Yes.
It was a month ago or something.
Did he bring you that?
Yeah, and I didn't realize it until he was already gone that he had brought this nice thing. I think it was like for my birthday or something.
Sad tiger.
I know. Oh, this is even better. And so, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That was awesome of you. I hope it's not ruining my mic situation. Okay.
Nope, sounds great.
So here's what we've got on tap for my cap of the week. So I've talked in the past about an app called Hipstamatic, which is a photography app that acts. Let me pull it up here. Oh, come on, really? Oh, it's because I've been using it quite a bit. Okay, Hipstamatic it has a native iPad app, and what makes it unique from other photography apps, Matic, this is not my app cap, by the way, because my app cap is downloaded, is that you do your Hipstamatic iPad. Oh,
so hard to find stuff. There may not be an iPad version.
Yes. I'm sorry. I spoke out of turn. It actually just looks good on the iPad, but it is an iPhone app. Hipstamatic is interesting because what it does is forces you to pretend that you're using a film camera.
Right.
So you choose the type of actual film that's in your virtual camera. You choose the lens that you're going to use. You choose the filter that you'd like to apply to the photo. And it is, I would say, for the casual person who's taking a few photos here and there, Hipstamatic might be a little overkill.
I don't really like it because I don't want to.
You don't want to think too much about. See, it looks fine on the iPad. No notifications.
It looks like a real camera, which is cool.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you've got
Did you see how bad the pictures look?
Well, that's because I'm looking at a pole.
Don't use Hipstamatic to take pictures of poles. My advice.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. You've got all sorts of, you've got all sorts of film options you can buy. There's a ton of in-app purchases, but it does come with a few. Anyway, okay, so that's Hipstamatic.
Right.
Many of you who've watched iPad Today know that I've talked about it in the past, and I really like it. Hipstamatic is smart enough to know, Leo, that there's enough people like you who say, too much, just too much.
Yeah.
Why can't I just, have a cool app that does something? Well, one of Hipstamatic's awesome filter packs that I downloaded, gosh, I mean, over a year ago now, 2 years ago really, is the TinType pack. I actually took a picture of you some time ago with those TinType settings, and you looked kind of weird, and TinType is, it's hard to explain.
It's the old style photography.
Yeah, and you
sepia toned.
and you kind of get these ethereal eyes and this sort of thing. So what this does is, it is that filter pack all in one place. And
So
it's a
it's an TinType
standalone app.
Oh,
Yes,
that's nice.
made by the Hipstamatic team, and I think that's
Take
really
a picture
smart.
of me in my panda hat.
Okay.
I want to see what I would look like old-timey.
Wait, I'm doing it.
And you know how in old time, they didn't smile because they had to hold it for a while.
There you go. All right.
There, that's my
now,
old-timey picture.
Look at that. That's actually a cool
I could have been a
photo.
Civil War soldier.
Exactly, right? Look at
Wearing
that.
a panda
We
hat.
got our guests in the background.
I'm in the Panda Corps.
I love it. Yeah, I was like super excited with this earlier because TinTypes, if you don't have the
That's
settings,
a great picture.
Isn't that good? I'll upload it to the internet. If you don't have the settings just right, TinTypes don't always work.
I want to do one with the Russian hat now. It could be Russian.
Done. I took a photo of myself earlier. It is like
love these.
super scary. Like, look
Oh,
how
yeah.
scary I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like silver plates, I think. I can't
Yeah.
remember, but TinTypes, that's the old, it's almost like a daguerreotype. Do a picture of a Russian hat now. Russian hat.
No, I'm taking a selfie. Ooh.
Ooh, tiger hat.
Ooh, I'm a tiger lady.
Oh,
Isn't that
look
good?
at your eyes.
I know. It's creepy.
Wow.
I look creepy, but cool.
Wow.
All right, now you want a Russian?
Let's see.
All right, let's do it.
Back in the old days.
Back in the old. Oh wait, no, that's me. Sorry, I'm doing it. Okay. Yep. Yeah. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, very serious.
Ooh.
Russian hat.
In-
I loved it.
In Ukraine,
Ukraine, Panda eats you.
Panda eats you in Ukraine. Yeah, it's good stuff. I love this app because it's a very specific filter that's like, it's so specific.
That's
that
nice.
It kind of just does one thing well, but I feel like it makes people look.
I'd be more likely to use that than Hipstamatic, even though
Well, yeah,
that's
because-
part of Hipstamatic.
Because again, it's like some people want all of those options in one place. It's like Hipstamatic is the Downcast of
Yeah, it's too much.
photography apps.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, but it's a commitment to play around with, and you don't know how things are going to turn out. TinType is one specific app made from the Hipstamatic folks. They actually, their offices are right near where I live in San Francisco. It's 99 cents, so you're paying $1 for this app that is, compatible on an iPhone or iPad, as you can see. And I was really happy with it. It was a nice little discovery that I got over the weekend.
So these were used in the 1860s and 1870s.
The original
TinTypes were
TinTypes.
very popular.
You know, it's kind of a hipster thing. I
They're
see a
back.
lot of my
There's
friends.
a TinType studio where you can actually go, and he has an old TinType camera
Yeah.
in San Francisco.
A few
Take
of them.
picture.
Or I think they used to. I don't know if that place is still in business.
Well.
But you see a lot of people with their Facebook photos, and you go, that's kind of cool. What's going
I
on?
like it.
Now you know.
How much is that at?
99 cents.
Worth it.
I think so.
Just for your Facebook photo.
Yeah.
Would you send me that one so I can make it my Facebook photo?
Yes.
So you know what's coming?
What?
Well, after the World Series, what's next?
The.
Thanksgiving.
Oh. Okay.
We are thankful for our Giants.
That's right.
Well, of course, if it's Thanksgiving, can a Butterball turkey be far behind?
I hope not.
I gotta find my. They've updated.
You can't even find where your Butterball
I
went.
hid my Butterball.
It's annoying how sometimes the apps go to the end of the
I don't know where they're
screens,
going.
and sometimes they just decide to.
The Butterball Cookbook 4.0 is out, the newest Butterball turkey cookbook. Butterball is a turkey brand in the United States for our international viewers. But this is actually a pretty good cookbook that has a lot of information. Of course, it's free. It's to promote Butterball, so there is a promotional coupons and so forth aspect to it. But it is actually a pretty great app for turkey recipes and the kind of recipes you might. Oh, thank you. I'm going to accept that from
Oh,
AirDrop.
good. Yeah, I just decided to airdrop that to you.
Ooh, BLT. Oh, that's
good
a
times.
good-looking guy.
Very.
That's my new Facebook photo.
There you go.
Where's my Butterball? I lost it again. Butterball, back here. Come to me. Like BLT biscuits, BLT turkey burgers. Of course, there's lots of turkey recipes in here. Probably the most turkey recipes ever. Like, how about this brined brown sugar turkey? Ooh, I love that. There are also videos in here. So they've actually done a good job. We've mentioned Butterball
We have,
before.
which is, I think it's, you sort of like say like, tee-hee, really, but it's, you get to do Thanksgiving for everybody.
You know what I dread about
have some
Thanksgiving?
shortcuts.
The thing I hate?
What?
I always have to carve the turkey because I'm the head of the household.
Okay.
And that's the job.
All right.
It is the worst job because
Why?
I'm no butcher. It's
Yeah,
hard. So
you don't know
here's
what
a
you're
nice
doing.
lady wearing an apron. She's not using a motorized knife or anything, and she's going to show me how to carve the turkey right. Do I have to have my pinky out? Okay, good. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, how to carve a turkey, how to thaw a
I
turkey.
don't know how to do that either.
No, and nobody does.
It would be
How to
helpful.
choose a turkey, that's easy. Just choose a Butterball. How to thaw your frozen Butterball. It's all in here. It's free, and I have to say there's some really good recipes in here. Let's see what's in tools: ingredient substitutes, conversion chart, and the all-important. Everybody ought to have one: turkey.
Everybody ought to have
The turkey
it.
calculator crashed.
Well, let's do it again.
Let's see if I can get that turkey calculator running.
Better.
Because I need a turkey calculator. How am I going to know how big a turkey to buy?
There you go.
How many adults are coming to our party? Let's, I don't know. I think there's quite a few. 8.
Okay.
And if there's 8 adults, that means there's 10 kids, right? Do we want, I love this. Do you want leftovers? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we big eaters? Yeah. 21 pounds of turkey and 20 cups and 2 ounces of stuffing. How long is that going to take to thaw? Should I start today?
That's the thaw. The thaw part is what always gets me. I always forget to do stuff like that.
We said
How
it's
long
how
to
many
thaw?
pounds? It's 21 pounds.
21-pound turkey.
Whoa, how long are we
Big
gonna?
boy.
Am I gonna thaw it in cold water or refrigerator?
I don't know.
It's gonna take 5 days. I'm gonna thaw it now.
Maybe you better not thaw in
Let's
the
see.
refrigerator.
Let's see.
That's
Wait a
what,
minute.
That's your problem.
How long is it gonna take? 3.5 to 4 hours. That's not bad. Stuffed? Yeah. What good is a turkey? Oh, now it's 4.5 to 5 hours. And then you want to test it at 325 and you blah
Can't
blah
you
blah.
thaw
blah.
it like in an oven?
Thaw in an oven. Yeah, that's called roasting.
Well.
No, you should thaw before you roast. Anyway,
By the way, anybody who's like, well, what if I don't buy a Butterball turkey? I mean, these
Any
recipes
turkey.
work for
Any
just
turkey.
Thanksgiving food.
can I tell you a secret? I never buy a Butterball turkey.
Well,
Sounds like it's going to be
We're
good,
not-
like it's going to be a ball of butter.
yeah, no.
It's not.
It's just a brand.
It's turkey.
You know, in Sonoma County, Willie Bird turkeys.
Willie
are very,
Bird.
very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We even have a Willie Bird restaurant. You know what they serve?
Willie Bird turkeys.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
it. Just turkey.
And you know, on Highway 12, well, this is going back to my childhood, but you know, a few days before Thanksgiving, all the cars are backed up, and it's
They're
very
at the-
hard to use Highway
they're
12
going
because
to
they're all
the
going to Willie Bird,
Willie Birds.
which is a little roadside stand, and you don't even
Yep,
really want to
yep,
hang out there.
yep.
But the turkeys are delicious.
I am in the mood for Thanksgiving.
Butterball, I am too. I'm so ready. I don't even know what I'm doing yet.
I know
but
what I'm doing.
I'm gonna eat
I'm going to a Niners game.
on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh, those are always so fun.
Niners Seahawks, Thanksgiving Day.
Ooh,
The
Seahawks.
question is, what are we going to do for Thanksgiving? And I think I'm just going to bring a 21-pound turkey to the ballpark.
You should.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, make sure that you thaw it in the refrigerator.
It'll
for
be
5
thawed
days beforehand.
5 days before.
And with that, we have concluded this episode of iPad Today, episode 221 to be precise. Thanks for everybody for watching and listening. You've been the best people ever. And animals, I know some of you are animals, not actually part of the human race. Welcome to you as well, aliens, trolls. I don't know, I'm just mosquitoes.
Everybody, if you live under a
amphibians,
bridge,
all the amphibians watching iPad Today, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. We'll see you next week on
iPad Today.
Oh. What sound does an amphibian make?
some hiss.